Here's an AMI This Week shortcut with Laura Bain.
It's a pretty great day to be outside.
Yeah, even when it's like cool and nippy like this, as long as the sun's out, I'm happy to be out.
This snowy hiking path in Long Lake Provincial Park in Halifax isn't a typical setting for a therapy session. But it's ideal for Keith McIsaac and Nick Cardone. Nick is a counseling therapist who does something called free-range therapy.
Free-range therapy is a counseling or mental health service that is the name of my private practice in Halifax. Therapy doesn't necessarily have to happen in an office setting. Free-range could be anything, like being out in a place like this, where we're walking or hiking, or having breakfast or coffee with someone.
That unconventional approach appealed to Keith, who sought help from Nick in the past for mental health and addiction issues.
Traditional therapy is like really beneficial, but I found that I was looking for a different approach. Because I've almost found that sometimes going to traditional therapy, as beneficial as it was, it did sometimes seem like a chore, where I didn't find that this was something I looked forward to. It's like, oh, I'm meeting Nick and I'm going hiking. I was excited to do therapy.
We should sit down with a map one of these days. I'll show you some of the secret trailheads.
I would love that.
I do a ton of hiking with my clients. Going hiking, moving their bodies, being in a natural space, that can just help someone feel better.
Today, Nick and Keith have hiked to a campfire site in the woods.
Sometimes this is as much as we need to have a therapy session. People just staring at the fire.
Nick came to the idea of taking it outside after years of doing traditional counseling.
I always love being physically active and being outside in nature. I think people tend to be their more organic selves when they're in a more natural setting. People feel a little more natural to hopefully engage with some of the stuff that's going on inside. That's my invitation when I meet people for the first time is to ask, what resonates with you? And if going for a hike is something that works for you, that's great. If sitting by, the lake that's behind us is a place that works for you, then that's great. Would you like some hot chocolate?
Definitely.
You got it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nick is the only therapist in Nova Scotia who does free-range therapy, and he works a lot with men.
It's a stereotype, but men have traditionally poor help-seeking behaviors. That's a well-established piece of data in the research, and as a function of that, men tend to minimize some of their problems, and they mask and they avoid some of their stuff, and that's how we're wired as men in some ways, and also how we're cultured. And again, the data, more and more shows this, is that men tend to be able to access and connect with some of that stuff that's going on inside when they're doing something that is not just sitting in an office.
Talking about like masculine script in relation to mental health, we're just taught to experience happiness or anger as a man. And it's like pretty one-dimensional. I like doing things that are more connected to nature. So to be able to be doing the activities I enjoyed doing before I got sick and before I stopped caring about my health, and having those accompanying a therapeutic approach, it was exactly what I was looking for.
And it's not to say that traditional therapy doesn't work. It doesn't work for everyone. This is about clients. Bar down, it's about people needing to expand their ideas of how therapy happens and where it can happen.